Today's overlooked stock of the session is a quantum winner. George Tsilis joins us to look at Rigetti Computing. George, they are designing quantum computers, superconducting processors, had been a dollar stock up until their last earnings about a month ago, and now they're at $8.50 almost.
Yeah, so I went back and looked, OJ. This was one of the reverse merger SPAC.
Yeah, they
deals.
SPAC'd in 2022 and then blew up.
Yeah, so they went down with the rest of the names during that period of time, and it's back to close to the net asset value level pre, of course, reverse merger. But you're right, this is one of these names that we've seen as of late that has got a lot of momentum. The quantum computing names that have been moving, slowly on the back of a lot of the other computing names out there. Google obviously is one of the premier players in the quantum space, but there's also some legacy players that we're all familiar with, like Azure from Microsoft and IBM, as well as AWS. I found is actually in this particular technology as well. But I talked about another one. I think it was QUBT. A while back, but there have been problems across the space with companies that haven't generated any revenue, and those are the ones you have to be really wary of. But this one, they are generating revenue. They are providing access to their quantum computing services, so they're basically providing access to their computers for services, and it might be based on needs from academic research, the private sector, but also government agencies. So nonetheless, this is a company that's generating revenue in this space. But I think, on the back of what's going on with what Google announced in their Willow technologies about a week or so ago, Google has really been moving. I think it's moving for other reasons, perhaps, than just quantum computing, because, that's really just an R&D sort of special project that Google has going on. But for what it's worth, looking into this technology, which I'm still nascent on, I don't know a lot about it. It seems to be a differentiator when it comes to the quantum computing, processing power. In other words, it's an entirely different architecture for computing. And I think, these technologies eventually will be breakthrough technologies, particularly when it comes down to, performance computing and the demands that we all are looking forward to, especially in the near future.
Okay. George, these, to your point, very nascent companies, effectively pre-revenue, to some extent pre-product. There's a lot under experimentation for how to actually harness and use quantum computing. Like, we know we are getting there and we're getting better, but to know which applications are going to be useful here is still pretty early on in the going. It's just what we know is that the math, the science is very, very compelling. So we might as well pile some money into it to figure it out.
Yeah, it's compelling and it's evolving. And so, again, I'm still trying to, get my head wrapped around AI. And
right,
so
now we're already moving on.
For me, it's just, now we're moving on. So things are accelerating, but, prices move faster than actual evolution of technologies and the deployment and application of these technologies. So, obviously, if you look at the price action in this name, alongside some of the others like QUBT and other names, I think the stock is higher by 700% year to date. Like I said, they do have revenues, and I'll just throw out some figures: 11 million for fiscal year 24, expecting 16 million 25. 37 million in the following year. No profits, but they do have about 92 million in cash on the books because they've been issuing cash during this acceleration or run up, or issuing shares to generate cash, and their cash burn as of the trailing 12 months is about 60 million. So it looks like they have about a 17-month runway of cash available to continue to deploy R&D, pay their 134 employees. That's based on what they publish on their website. But they are generating revenue. So that's something to speak of versus some of the other companies that I can't even provide any valuation that don't have any sales at all.
Hey, I'd be happy to have a product bringing in $11 million a quarter, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's, it's very, very, very like neophyte corporate business for the stock market. The product Novera, their QPU, by the way, George, I wonder if maybe that's why some of the semiconductor trade has been slowing. Like, if this is really a turning point for the utility of quantum computing, then obviously that's going to disrupt a lot of the traditional chip players, because they do aim to like have these devices, you know, replace integrated circuits from a traditional standpoint.
Yeah, it's quite possible we saw it last week, OJ, and you know what I'm talking about. I think most people will recognize when AI or ChatGPT was launched. That's when NVIDIA really took off. So for all we know, what happened to Google last week, and there was some follow through today as well, might have been that inflection point in technology. And so I'm not saying it is the case, but it's starting to evolve. And again, the challenge is the smaller businesses. Obviously, they're picking up because of the small market caps. In this case, it's around $2 billion. But relative to sales at 11 million, it's trading at a substantive price to sales ratio. But again, it could be also one of the reasons why NVIDIA is weak. So I think you're onto something. There's a possibility that ends up being the case, and we won't know until, of course, time passes and prices evolve.
Yeah. Their leadership team's got some interesting background, with the chairman of the board coming from HPE primarily. Yeah. The president CEO, Subodh Kulkarni, is an MIT engineer, chemical engineering, pretty impressive stuff, obviously. So a bunch of smart people, and there's several companies now going for this. So I guess we'll keep track of them and try and figure out the differences, and sure, maybe that is weighing on some of the chip market. Thanks, George.